after examining the Michael Jackson case. He was in a war with Sony over publishing rights, and suddenly he was being accused. And I didn't remember much about that case, but then when I went and I looked at it, it was a crazy story of like a kid who was drugged by his dad to say that he was raped by Michael Jackson. Literally, he was drugged by his father. And so you start to wonder if there's a lot of stuff that's happening in Hollywood that many people have tried to speak out about, and those people have either been deemed crazy, or in the case of Michael Jackson, he's into children. And we sort of pay attention to the media circus of everything without realizing that like there could be other stuff happening in Hollywood.
Do you think it's possible that Michael Jackson was not a child molester?
I am now convinced after looking at the case that he was not, and that he was at a war with Sony. And I did a whole episode on it. I was shocked because I grew up loving Michael Jackson, and then I was absolutely repulsed by Michael Jackson. Like, he meant so much in my childhood. And then I was repulsed by Michael Jackson. And then I decided to re-examine what happened. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I literally could not believe.
Like Harvey
he was
Weinstein.
winning. He was going to win the Beatles catalog. It was his. He was fighting Sony and winning. And then just like that, scandal, broke, dead. Even the way he died is weird, but like, it was a lot. When you go back and look at that case, you realize the media tells you so much, but they tell you absolutely nothing.
They kind of fit your preconceptions of what a bad guy like that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson living in Neverland is weird, kind of personal Disney with all these little kids. You're like, he's clearly a kid toucher.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he definitely had issues because he felt that he had his childhood stolen from him. So he kind of made it his priority in this, I would say, very creepy way to constantly say, I'm going to create this Neverland ranch. And so kids are never going to go through anything. But it's quite telling that he was so close above with anybody else with Macaulay Culkin, right? Also, another person who alleged that he was being raped by directors was that Corey, I'm going to say Corey, maybe Feldman. Yeah. And he's been vocal about how he was abused. And both of those people said absolutely never, not once, did Michael Jackson do anything to them. They stood up for him. And then when you get into the people that said that he did something and you figure out what their motives were, one's drugged, one was paid, the Michael Jackson story gets completely crazy. And so what you had was a man who was stunted in his growth because of his childhood, who wanted to make the world a special, magical place for people. And he became the perfect, I mean, he won his case. So we can say Michael Jackson was not guilty, right? He actually won his case once the jury saw all the evidence. But yeah, it's kind of scary to think that a media circus can be created about you and people can believe things, just like we were saying with Matt Lauer.
Yes.
Absent very little fact because the media just keeps saying it.
This clip about Michael Jackson, really, really gets me thinking. If there's one thing I have mentioned a couple of times on this particular platform, is that more too often, things are not what they seem to be, right? The narrative we get to hear is not exactly what might have taken place. Sometimes people feed us with narratives that they want us to hear or they want us to know. And they shove these narratives down our throat and force us to accept it as they have told us. Things sometimes are not as they might seem to be. That is true. Like the case of Diddy, I am sure that Diddy is not in for what he did. No. Because he has been doing that for many, many years and no one bothered to apprehend him. I am quite sure Diddy is in because he might have stepped on some wrong toes. He might have bitten more than what he can chew. And that is the reason why he is in there. I am from Africa and I have seen cases like this all the time. You will see a minister, a government minister, been arrested for corruption and bribery. But when you look deeper, you then realize that actually he is not being arrested because he is corrupt or because he has embezzled. No, he is being arrested because of political infighting, because they are fighting themselves and he has been defeated. That is why he is being arrested. When politicians in Africa want to go after their challengers, they will use anti-corruption. That's what they use. I have seen this many, many times over. You will see one minister or one government official, as corrupt as he or she is, they will be promoted. They will be elevated. They will be celebrated. And then something will happen and they will be arrested for embezzlement. And when you read into the whole thing, you come to realize that they are being charged for embezzling funds many, many years ago before they even were promoted to the position that they currently occupied. And then you ask yourself, if this guy was as corrupt as they are saying he is, which he is, by the way, if this guy, person in charge, wanted to wipe out corruption from the system, wouldn't he or she had gone after these people many, many years ago? Would they be doing it now? Then all of a sudden, it will be clear to you that actually they are not in for corruption or for embezzlement, but they are in for the person they challenge. They are in for the person who they might have backstab. That is how it is. So, what Candice is saying here about Michael Jackson is something I believe 100%. Michael was fighting for his rights, and so those in power thought to themselves, why not just destroy him? And so they made sure he suffered. They made sure he suffered. The same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly might have done all those things he's been accused of. Or maybe he did them, not even might, because he's been charged and imprisoned. But do you think that R. Kelly went to prison just because of those things he was charged in court of doing? No, no. He stepped on the wrong toes. And they wanted to teach him a bitter lesson. That is how it is. But anyway, let me hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. After hearing what Candace Owens said in this video about Michael Jackson, what is your take? Is she right or not? Let us hear that in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you guys have to say. And please don't forget to like the video, share the video, follow us on social media, because like always, we are counting on your support to build this platform. Thank you very, very much.